So continuing to Kjichagulia, day 2. So I have my 2 ears of corn on the table tonight. But with this pandemic, y'all, it's so hard sometimes to find things you need. So my little local store downstairs and Trader Joe's, they didn't have any ears of corn. So I got baby corn. It's so cute, I have to show you. So I got my 2 little ears of baby corn. One thing that's beautiful about Kwanzaa is that it is not a religion. It's not locked into hardcore. It's all about being community and being creative and being connected, being original, but following the guidelines. So I like that I got my baby corn today. So let's talk about this self-determination, defining ourselves. For me, I will share from, and you can research about self-determination and understanding, defining yourselves and naming ourselves and creating for yourselves. But let me go through my guidelines. So defining ourselves. That might mean about understanding your purpose in life, in the moment, as well as in the future. Okay? Purpose is not something that is automatic. It's something that might be constantly evolving and discovering. But try as you define yourself to understand what your purpose might be in life, in the community, in serving in your family, so that you can live with purpose and fulfilling yourself. I think that's so key, even in just coping with life. I know that my greatest purpose is about serving children and serving my community. And that's why still at this age of retirement, I am still teaching because I enjoy it and I love it. Naming ourselves. So a lot of, in the Pan-African movement, there was a great move when I was a young child that, in my teenage college years, that a lot of people of color were starting to take on African names and find names that had meaning. And so this is something you might want to look into, or even understanding what your name, your given name, what it means. So understanding that. And as you have children, maybe even taking a more consideration, what does this name mean? What will it reflect on the character and personality of my child? So let's look at the names that we choose for our children. I used to have one year, a couple years back when I was teaching in Georgia, I had some students that ended with S-O-N or on in the end of their name, and they were a little bit of a challenge, and I wondered if there was some significance to that ending in their name, because they all had like personalities of being challenging and had me on the edge of my seat having to really attend to their needs. But we had a lot of success. So, as I mentioned the other day, I'm of East African descent, and actually, ironically, my grandfather passed on the day that I was born, and so I never got to see him or know him. But at the age of 16, my mother reunited with a relative who one of his purpose was to seek her out when he came here to America. And my mom had an East African name, Halim, as is pronounced correctly in Somali culture. And when he saw her name tag, he immediately said, "Are you the daughter of Ali Hassan Abdi Musa?" And she was like, "Yes." And they just united and embraced. And from that, I had a short season of pen paling with one of my cousins, one of my relatives from East Africa, and I asked her to help me. I'm going to turn this music down just a little bit, to select a name from my culture, from my people, for myself. And I use that as my pen name. And so she sent me a list of names. And for that, I chose Suleika Ayan. And Suleika means beautiful, and Ayan means lucky or blessed. And so I later found out, when I shared that with some of my relatives, that there's actually a folklore about a Suleika who was voluptuous, who was very full-figured, beautiful, and was adored. And so it's kind of ironic that I picked that name, because I am a full-figured woman, and of course beautiful. So I am so glad that I chose that name, and as a result, some of my nieces have taken on part of that Ayan as their name, which means lucky and blessed. So find a name for yourself. Go to African culture. There's a lot of resources for looking through names. And the basis for Kwanzaa is the Swahili language, but you can look at any of the African cultures, African continent cultures to find a name, but know the meaning of the name, okay? Create for ourselves. I want to say for me, it makes me think of my auntie, mama, teacher, mentor, who said to me, look at your hands and see what they can do. And this will connect to another principle later in terms of like financial, but create for ourselves. Being able to produce your food, make clothing, do things for yourself. Look at your hands. Look within yourself. How can you maybe succeed or solve your problems? Opposed to complaining or not being able to resolve situations. So
the endless stream of bad news can be
this is about
but the good
self-determination.
news is that Concern Worldwide has boots on the ground in 25.
You want to be able to create for yourselves solutions. All right? So I want to encourage you on day 2 of Kwanzaa to Kjichagulia. I broke it down, so I told you I was going to learn how to say that tonight, to make sure that you have self-determination, that you are working towards defining yourselves, naming yourselves, and creating for yourselves. Is this a one-time process? Is this something that might not change? No. It might evolve into something else. You might find yourself in a new season. So as I light the candle for day 2, Kjichagulia, self-determination. Be determined to be successful, to know yourselves, take care of yourselves, and have a name for yourself. This is Anita Hamilton on day 2 for Kwanzaa. Kjichagulia. Blessings.